hit, and then stop. Hi friends, I'm TY. On my left is a Bo-Shuriken that was given to me by friends in Japan. On my right is a reconstructed Tuo Shou Biao that we make at TEDOJO. Unlike throwing class, which is easy for beginner to stick on target and enjoy throwing immediately, Bo-Shuriken and Tuo Shou Biao require at least some basic understanding of the technique before they become truly enjoyable to throw. In this video, we will talk about the technique, and I'm going to share what I've learned from training both systems. We will also use motion analysis software to look at how they actually work. Tuo Shou Biao. Shuriken. First, both of these would be classified as no-spin throwing in modern throwing sports. What does no-spin means? I also mentioned that in my last video, Chinese throwing knife. So no-spin means after it releases your hand, it usually only rotates 90 degrees, but never complete a half rotation after release. So as long as the target is in your effective range, it will only rotate 90 degrees, then hit the target. Compared to the rotational throwing, no-spin requires much less precise distance estimation. As long as the target is in my maximum effective range, I can just take a look at it and then throw. And because of that, the Shuriken system and the Tuo Shou Biao system need to solve one same problem, the control. Control means control the orientation of the tip. How can we make sure the Shuriken fly like 3 meters, then the tip can hit the target with the right angle? What's interesting is that these two weapons are come from different cultures. They were both used as support weapon or secondary weapon alongside swords, allowing a fighter to attack or distract an opponent at short or medium range. Even the grips look similar, but when we analyze them closely, we will find that the way they control the rotation is completely different. The Shuriken generates rotation first and then control it. The Tuo Shou Biao tries to prevent rotation from being generated in the first place. Let's start with Shuriken first. A common interpretation of the name Shuriken is a blade in your hand or a blade hitting your hand. And the throwing motion of a Shuriken is very similar to a katana cut. Let's take a look at these two movements. This was actually one of the greatest strengths of the Shuriken system. The Shuriken was designed as a companion weapon to a katana, so if you were already skilled with a katana, learning Shuriken becomes much easier. One way to think about this is imagine your forearm, your entire forearm is a sword, and the section holding the Shuriken is the cutting portion of that sword. When you throw, you are not simply tossing an object, you are performing a cut. So my left hand hold a katana, right hand hold a Shuriken. Let's do that at the same time. Cut. Okay? Again. Cut. And there's one important detail here. When you're performing your card throwing, your wrist stays firm. Do not relax your wrist like this. Stays firm. You may be wondering if the throwing motion is almost the same, how can the Shuriken still stick in the target with the right angle from different distance? The answer is that the Shuriken naturally wants to rotate. Because the arm follows a downward cutting arc, rotation is created automatically when it leaves your hand. It's like that, downward cutting arc, and then it will start to rotate. If I make no adjustment and just follow the downward cut, the ideal distance will be 1.5 meters. see that the shuriken is stick on target with a very good angle. What if I throw from 3 meters? We know the 1.5 meters is in the comfort zone, and if you throw from 3 meters with the same motion, the shuriken will over-rotate. The end part will hit the target. So the shuriken system need a way to slow the rotation down. The solution is friction. As the shuriken leaves the hand, the finger continues to make contact with it for a brief moment. That contact creates friction, and that friction slows the rotation. The further the target is, the more rotation needs to be removed, and the more friction we need to create. There are two primary ways to adjust that friction. First is the finger pressure. More pressure creates more friction. The friction can slow the rotation down. So the slower rotation allows for greater distance. For example, I'm 2 meters away from a target, so it's kind of close distance. I can just add a little bit pressure on it. Okay, let's throw from different distance. Just remember one thing, the longer the distance, the more pressure you need. I'm 1 meters away from target, so I do not need any pressure. I can just let the shuriken leave my hand by itself. Okay, 2 meters, just add a little bit. 3 meters, 4 meters, 5 meters. Second method is change the length of the finger slide. Every time I grip in the same position, so how can I change the finger slide length? I can grip like this, and at close distance, I can use my thumb to release. Release like that. Okay, let's a longer distance or medium distance, I can use my index finger to release. At longer distance, I can use my middle finger to release. So I can just release like that. If you compare the length of these 3 fingers, you will notice that the thumb provides the shortest contact path, while the index finger can provide a longer one. And for the middle finger, it's only slightly longer than the index finger, but when we use middle fingertip slide, it's not only the fingertip, it's the whole finger and the palm. So it increases the duration of the friction and also the contact area. As a result, even more rotation can be removed, so you can throw from longer distance with your index finger. Now, let's take a look at the Tuo Shou Biao. Unlike the shuriken, the Tuo Shou Biao is from a very different martial art tradition. Its roots can trace back to the Chinese rope dart, and the rope dart itself is from the spear. A spear is a very effective weapon, but carrying one everywhere is not very practical. So over the time, martial artists just replace the wooden shaft with a rope, but still keep the metal head. So from the rope dart, it's much easier to carry, while still remaining much of a spear's reach. If you remove the rope completely, you got a heavier Tuo Shou Biao. As the weapon continued to evolve, it became lighter and more specialized for throwing. This image shows some of the Tuo Shou Biao that I have collected and made. When I throw a Bo-Shuriken, I imagine my forearm as a sword, then it's a cut. When I throw a Tuo Shou Biao, I feel like my arm is a rope. So the entire arm is just relaxed. And the motion is more like cracking a whip than swinging a blade. So the Tuo Shou Biao is quite smaller compared to a rope dart head. You don't have to use big motion to throw it. I can just drive it directly to the target. It's like. As you can see, the wrist follows a D-shaped path. This comes from the cutting motion used in throw, which is very similar to the mechanic of a sword cut. The wrist trajectory of the Tuo Shou Biao is very different. You can see it's almost straight line, doesn't matter the distance. People have asked me about the differences between these two techniques for a long time, so hopefully this video can give you a clear answer. Today we have looked at two different techniques. The Shuriken technique allows the rotation and solve it during the release. The Tuo Shou Biao tries to minimize the rotation at the beginning. I like the speed, the slender profile, and the penetration of Bo-Shuriken. But I also like the heavier weight of the Tuo Shou Biao and the way it feels with a more linear throwing technique. So I wanted to combine what I like about both. And that's why I designed Spectre. If you enjoyed the video, I really appreciate a like and a subscribe. If you are interested in Spectre, you can find it on TEDOJO.com. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.